Hey guys, Learning with Rich here. In this video, I'm going to show you how to use your Dynamo and your Excel file to set up your project. Okay, so we will be doing this start from scratch. Now, the first thing that I'm going to do here is we're going to set up our Excel file. Okay, so you can, after you set up this Excel file, you can reuse this the next time you set up again your project. So you can use this Excel file. Okay, so let me just create an Excel file here. All right, so I'm opening my Excel right now. So here's my Excel. Okay, so now the first thing that we will be doing is we need to create sheets of Excel here. So as you can see, we have the default sheet number 1 here. So what we are going to do is we are going to use this sheet number 1 for our levels. Okay, so for this project, we are going to automate the creation of our levels, creation of the floor plans, reflected ceiling plan, and then we are also going to create the sheets. Okay, now for this first sheet here, I'm gonna rename this one. I'm gonna call this levels. Okay, so levels. And then after that, I'm gonna create now the name here. So let's say, for example, this will gonna be the name of my level, and then the height or the elevation of my level. Elevation. Just make sure you are typing correct spelling. Okay, so we have the name and then we have the elevation. Now let's put now the levels that we'll be using here. So let's say that we are going to create, so this will gonna be our level 1, and then level 02, and so on and so forth. Okay, so that is what we're gonna do. So let's say until level 6, but for the 6 here, I'm gonna call this just roof. Okay, and then for the elevation, so you can put here the elevation. So let's say, since I'm using a metric, so I'm going to just type here a metric here. So let's say just 2,000, 4,000, and so on and so forth. Okay. So now that I have set up my levels, so the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to set up now my floor plans. Okay, so this is the level. So I'm going to right click the levels here, and then I'm going to select here move or copy. Click that, and then I'm going to select here create copy, and then move to end. So select that and then select here okay. There you go. So we have here levels 2, but we need to rename that. So I'm gonna call this floor plans. Okay, so we have here the levels, and then we have here the floor plans. But of course, on our floor plan, so what we are going to do there is we're going to put here, again, we are going to use the name, and then for this one, what is this level? Okay, so we put here the name of our level, and then here is our level. So I'm gonna delete these numbers here, and then I'm going to, since this is level, so I'm going to copy the level that I have here, the name. Okay, so I'm gonna copy this, Control C, and then let's go to the floor plans tab, and then we're gonna paste it here. Okay, so basically we are gonna use the name of our level here for our floor plan. Now for the name of our floor plan, I'm gonna delete this. I'm gonna put here, let's say I'm doing architectural, or if you're doing mechanical, you can put M. But since I'm gonna creating an architectural project or set up the architectural project, I'm gonna put A. Okay, so A plan underscore 01. Okay, and then I'm just gonna copy that. So this will gonna be 2, and then again I'm gonna make this set up all the way here. That's it. Okay, and then for this one, I'm just gonna call this, let's say, roof. Okay, so these are the views that I would like to be inserted inside my sheet later on. Now, I'm going to create a working floor plan in which this is the view where we are going to work our model. Okay, so to do that, I'm just gonna copy again the levels here. Oops. So let's copy that, Control V, and then I'm just gonna type here, let's say, working underscore plan underscore 01, or whatever name that you would like on your project. Then I'm gonna copy this and then change this to 2, and then I'm just gonna drag that all the way here. This one should be my roof. There you go. Okay, so it's now set up. So this is our floor plan. So now the next thing that we're going to set up is our RCP, or the reflected ceiling plans. Okay, so let's do that. I'm gonna select here, or just right click the floor plan, move or copy, click move to end, and then create a copy, and then select here OK. Now this one, right click and let's rename this. Let's call this reflected, make sure it's correct spelling, reflected ceiling plans. Enter. Okay, and then after that, again, we are going to delete this name here, but we are still going to use these details here. Okay, so just make sure what you copy from here is the same when you copy it here. So it's make sure it's correct spelling, the capitalization or the small letters, make sure they are correct. Okay, so that there will gonna be any problem on our Dynamo later when we run it. All right. Okay, so let's go back here on our RCP. So I'm just gonna name this A underscore RCP underscore 01. And then I'm just gonna copy and paste that here. So this will gonna be our 2. Again, click that all the way to the roof. So this will gonna be my ARCP roof. And then I'm going to create also the working RCP underscore RCP 01. And then let's drag that. So this will gonna be my roof. And there you go. And then the next thing that we're going to set up is the reflected, or I mean the sheets. So what you do is right click the reflected ceiling plan and then move or copy, move to end, create a copy, and then select your OK. Right? And then after that, don't forget to change the name. So let's call this sheets. Okay, and now for this one, what we need here is I want the number, the sheet number, and also the name. Okay, so what is the sheet numbers that I will be using? So I'm just gonna remove all of this first. All right, and then let's put here the number. Okay, so let's say the first series is the A000. So basically this is my cover sheet. Okay, so this is the cover sheet. And then for the series A100, so this will gonna be my floor plan. So I will call the sheet level 1 plan, and so on and so forth. So this is 101. So I'll create until 105. And then this will gonna be level 2. Oops. So this is level 3, level 4, and level 5. Okay, and now for my series 200, so that will gonna be for my reflected ceiling plan. But first, I'm gonna create until 205, and then call this level 01 RCP, and then just copy by pressing Ctrl D below. Okay, so this will gonna be my okay, so I think I'm missing the roof plan here, so let me just insert one and then copy these. So this is 106, and this will gonna be my roof plan. Okay, so this is 02, 4, 5, and then A-301. That will be for my elevation. So just call this, let's say, elevation A, and then this is elevation B, elevation C, and elevation D. And then for my series 400, A-402. Okay, so this will gonna be for my sections A and sections B. Right, and then this is the last one is for my schedule, so A-502. Of course, you can customize this one based on the sheets and views that you would like to create in your project. So these are just sample. So let's say this is for my door schedule, and then this is for my room schedule. Okay, and I think we are now all set up. So again, don't forget to save your project because we will be using this on our Dynamo script. Okay, so we now have our levels. Make sure it's correct spelling, the floor plans, and then we have the RCPs, and then we have here the sheets. Okay, so our Excel is now complete. So let me just save that, and then I'm going to close this one. We don't need this open when we run our Dynamo program. Okay, now the next thing that we will be doing is let's create a project. So let's say I'm gonna create here a project using my architectural template, and then I'm gonna select here OK, right? And we are now going to use the Dynamo. So instead of doing it manually, we already set it up on our Excel, so we will be doing that details from the Excel and then translate it here on our Revit project. Okay, so to run your Dynamo, just go to the Manage. I'm using Revit 2022, by the way. So I go to the Manage, and then there's the Visual Programming. So select here the Dynamo. Just click that one. And then we are going to create a Dynamo script or Dynamo file. Okay, so this is my Dynamo file. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new Dynamo file here. Just click that one, and you are now here on our Dynamo environment. Okay, right. So what I'm going to do here is we are going to insert now the nodes that we will be using for our Dynamo. So just make sure, because I'm not a fan of automatic running the program. So usually I just select here manual. So I'm the one who's going to click the run because I do not want the Dynamo every time I insert a node, every time I connect a node to another node, it will run automatically. So I don't want that. So I just select here manual. Okay. All right, so another thing that you will notice here on my Dynamo environment is that I already have here some add-ons that I already downloaded. Okay, because there are scripts in Dynamo that is already simplified from the Dynamo packages that you can download from the internet. Although you can all do that here on the default Dynamo nodes, but it will take a lot of time. Okay, whereas if you're just going to download the add-ons, it's already set up by the other user for us to be able to use it easily. Okay, now the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to create the Revit levels. Okay, so to do that, what we need to do is we need to use the Excel, right? And for us to be able to use our Excel, so we need a node. Okay, so what are these nodes that we needed to create our level? So to create our level, so we need to use the node file path. Okay, you can search it here, or you can just right click and then type file path. Okay, so file path. So that's the first node. So you just click that one. Right, so there's the file path. So for this one, we need to locate the Excel file. Okay, so you just need to select the browse. And then let's say, for example, as you can see, I already have all the nodes here set up. Okay, so let's go to the, I think I save it on the desktop. And there you go. So there's our project setup. So just click that one, that Excel file, and then select here open. So that's the location of our Excel file. Okay, now the next thing that we will be doing is we need another node that will be able to read this Excel file that we just created. So aside from file path, okay, so we need another node here. So this is the node. So read Excel. Okay, so as you can see, this read Excel node here cannot be found on your default Dynamo script. So you need to download the Archilab Bumblebee package. Okay, now if you're asking where is this packages, so you just need to go to the packages, and then you just need to search from here. So just search, and then just wait. And then you can now search here the package that you would like to install to your Dynamo. Okay, so it really it takes a lot of time at the moment. Okay, so just wait. All right, and then just search Bumblebee. That's the one. Okay, so you just click that and then just download it. Okay, so after you download, you will be able to see it here on our add-ons. Okay, so these are just example of good Dynamo packages that you can download, that you can add to your project. Okay, so let me just close this one. So I have that one. Now, the next thing that I'm going to do is what did I say? Okay, for the link, right? So you can just search from here or just search here. So just look for read Excel. That's the one. So you click that, and then here's now that one. So as you can see, if you want to see what's inside this node, just right click that, and then you can select here edit custom node, and you see this is the nodes for that. Okay, but let me just close that one. I don't want to study that, so I just need the Excel here. So as you can see, we have several inputs. This is the output, the right side of your node, that's the output. And then the left side of your node, that is your input. So what are the inputs that we need? So first of all, we have the file path, which is this one. So we already have the file path. So just connect that to the file path. And then we also have here run it. So as you can see, the input should be a bool or boolean. So boolean is like true or false. Okay, true or false, or yes or no. Okay, so fortunately we have a node for that. So just search it. So again, right click and then type boolean. Okay, so that's our node. So by the way, if you're going to search, what you do is just right click and then just type straight away. No need for you to put your cursor and then click the search bar here. No need to click that because it will just disappear. So when you right click, just type straight away. So boolean. Okay, so that's the node that we need to run our program. This read Excel. And then we need the sheet name. Okay, so the sheet name. So since we are going to create the level, if we are going back to our Excel file, the project setup. So these are the sheet names that we have. So these are the sheet names. So we have the levels, floor plans, RCPs, and then the sheets. Okay, so these are the sheet names. Okay, so since we're going to create levels, so this is the sheet that we'll be using, the level sheet. So this is the sheet. So LEVELS, that one. So I'm going to close this one. And then let's put an input here. So I'm going to connect this, run it. And then for the sheet name, so since we need the levels, we're going to create a code block. To create a code block, all you have to do is double click the blank space. Just double click and then there goes your code block. So what is the value that you would like to be inserted here? So just like what I have said earlier, so make sure the spelling that you're going to type here is the same as the one in your Excel. So if that is levels, so make sure you put here level. But if you're going to type here a value or a text, make sure you put a quotation, open and close parenthesis, or a quotation. Okay, so that will gonna be levels. Levels, that's it. And then just click outside. All right. And then that's the one that we need to connect to our sheet name here. Okay, and then the next thing that we are going to do is, okay, for this read Excel node, we don't need to complete all the inputs. Okay, so we don't need to put the column, the origin, or the extent. So this node allows that, but some of the nodes, for you to be able to run it properly, so you need to put all the inputs. But for the read Excel, this is enough. The file path, the run it, and then the sheet name. All right. So now the next thing that we are going to do is we want to see all the details that our Dynamo will be able to extract from these levels. So what are those levels? So in order for us to do that, so we need to use another nodes that will let us to do that. So which is list. So we need to see the list. Okay. But you will notice on our project setup here, okay, so for the levels, so we have here an extra layer that we actually don't need. So this is just the name. Okay, so what I really need for Dynamo to create is this number 2 to number 7. Okay, so these are the data. Okay, so that's why what I'm going to do is I'm going to generate the list, but I want to show only this one. And then after that, another list that will show the rest here. Okay, so what I mean is this one. Okay, so I'm going to right click and then search again. I'm going to type here list. Okay, so as you can see, you have so many lists here that you can use. List map. Okay, so cycle, insert, list. Okay, so list create. Okay, but for this one, what I want is, I want to see the first item. Okay, I want to see the first item of my list here, which is this one, the name and elevation. So how to get that? Okay, so how to get that? So let's go back to our Dynamo. Seems like it's not appearing here, so I'm gonna search here. So I'm gonna type list first dot first item. Okay, this is the one that I need. So first item, this one. Okay, so we need an output here. So what is the list? So it will be coming here. I'm going to select that. Now if I'm going to click run, make sure this one is true. Okay. All right, so this is a true Excel file. So we need that boolean to be true. So just select here, run. And that's it. It's already run. So if I'm going to hover my pointer there and then expand that. So as you can see, we now have here, we extracted 0, index 0, and then index 1, which is the name and elevation. Okay, so that's our first item, which is this one. Name and elevation. Okay, so now we need to extract the rest here. Okay, now to do that, so we need to get the list. Take note of this, list rest of items. So it removes the first item from the given list. So just click that. There you go. And then we are going to use this to connect there. Again, let's run the program. So let's click run. And then let's hover our pointer. And there you go. So we just extracted 0, 1. And then the 0, the height. Level 2, the height. Level 3, height. Level 4, height. 5, height. Okay. So basically, this group here that we have used, I'm going to select all this group and then I'm going to right click and then I'm going to create a group. So this is the group that we have used or that we have created, these nodes, to read the level data from our Excel. So just for you to easily understand. So I'm going to right click this. I'll just select this color. Okay. Alright, so this is now that group. So now the next thing that we're going to do after we learn how to read the level data or the section data or the floor plan data from the Excel, so which is this group. So we are now going to create our level. Okay, so to create the level, by the way, you can hide this again if you want. Just unpin. Okay, so this is our read level data from the Excel. So now let's learn how to create Revit levels. Okay, so to create our Revit levels, so we are going to insert another list node here. So that's why list is very important. So this time around, what I want to do for this one, I want to separate all the index 0 from index 1 because our index 0, that is the level, and then for the index 1, that is the elevation. So I want to separate these two. So in order for us to do that, we need to transpose it. Again, fortunately, we have a node for that, which is list transposed. Okay, so it swaps rows and columns in a list of lists. If there are some rows that are shorter than others, null values are inserted as placeholders in the resultant array, such as that it is always rectangular. So let's use this, list transpose. So what I want to transpose is this one. So I don't care about the first item, but this is the one, the items here. So let's connect that. And then let's run it. And then let's hover our pointer and then click, and there you go. So we just separated our index 0 from index 1. So we now have 0 list and then 1 list. So level 1, okay, and then 0, level 2, and then 2000. Index 2 is level 3 and 6000, and so on and so forth. So this is what we need. Okay, so now the next thing that we will be doing here is we are now going to insert the node that we need to create the level. Okay, so to do that, you just type level from the search bar. So level by elevation. So I'll be using the elevation here. This one, let me try this one. No, not this one. I don't need this. So I'll just delete that. Okay, so let me just search here. Level by elevation and name. Okay, so this is the one. So let's click that, and there you go. Okay, now for this one, so again, we have a problem because here it's asking for the elevation, and then it's asking for the name of the elevation. Okay, so we already have here the height, which is our elevation, right? And then we already have here our name, level 1 to the roof. So this is the elevation, and then this is the name. But the problem is inside the list transpose, they are all grouped in one. So we need to extract some more. So we need to separate items here. Okay, so we need to use another node here, another list, which is called list get item at index, which is very useful. Okay, so list get item at index. I actually need a couple of this, so I'm going to select this and then Control C and then Control V to copy paste. Okay, and then I needed this 0 and then 1. So in order for us to do that, so we need to use list get item at index. Okay, but here we need to put the index. Okay, so we need the index 0 for our name, index, and then index 1 for our elevation. So we are going to create another code block here. So just double click, and then for the code block, for the number, you don't need to put a quotation mark. So you just put the number. So if I want to get this index 0, so I'll just type here 0 and then just click outside. Okay, so another code block, double click. So this will gonna be for my index 1. So I'll just type 1 and then click outside, right? Okay. So let's just arrange this. So for the list of my, this is the elevation. So my elevation here is index 1. So I'll just put 1 there and then the 0 here. Okay, so there's my index 1, which is my elevation. This is for my elevation. Okay, and then I'm gonna use this list there. There you go. And then I needed this index here, index 0. So I'm gonna use this list again. So index 0, that's for the name here. And there you go. Okay? Right, so after that, we are now going to run this. So before I run, so let me just move my window here. So I want to see, okay? So we are going to create the level. Okay, so let's do this. So after we set up, so let's run. So let's click that one. And then it's now completed. So we just created now our level. So if I'm going to select here the elevation and then go to the east, for example, so I now have here this elevation or levels, right? So if I'm gonna undo, just to show you again, let's undo that. Okay, so I go to the elevation view and then I'm going to run the program here. Let's run it. Okay, so here's the problem. So after you undo, there are some instances that our program will not run. So that's why I'm gonna save this. I'll just save it here on my desktop. So I'll just call this project setup as well. So project setup, and then I'll just save it. And then I'll try to run again. So I'll just select here, run. Okay, so it's not working. So I'll just close this and then I'm just gonna run again the Dynamo. So that's the problem. So after I undo, so there are times that the program will not work again if you're going to run it. That's why you just need to close the project and then after, or the Dynamo, and then after that you open it again. Okay, like this one. So let me just run. And that's what I mean. There you go. So it's now created there automatically. Right? So that's how you create your levels. So now for this one, so let us group this. So let's select this for your guide. So this is the nodes that we use to create Revit levels. Okay. Then just right click to change the color. There you go. Right. Okay, so now the next thing that we're gonna do here is we're going to learn how to create what's next. Floor plans. Okay, so our floor plan. So let me just pan. So I want to put it here. So to create the floor plan, it's almost the same as creating your levels. So we already know how to read the data using the Excel. So that's why we're just going to copy this. So I'm going to copy this group, Control C, Control V. So let's move it here. But this time here, we need to change this, right? Because we need floor plans. Again, make sure you type exactly this one. Okay, so maybe you can right click that, rename, and then Control C. Okay, so after you copy that, go back again to your Dynamo. And then you change here. Because this area here, so let me just change the name. So this is now to read the floor plan data from Excel. Okay, let me just change the color, this one. Okay, so for the code block, so make sure you put there floor plans. Okay, so exactly floor plans. Okay, right. So that's now for our floor plan. Again, we will be using this node here. So we know we have learned already that these are the nodes that you use to read the data from the Excel. Okay, so file path, boolean, and then code block. Read Excel from Bumblebee, and then list first item, and then list rest of item. Now, to create the Revit floor plan, again, we need a transposed here. Because we don't need the first item here, we need this one, the rest of items. So if I'm going to run this to see this one, so I'm going to run it. There you go. And then let's expand this. There you go. So these are the floor plans extracted from the Excel file. Okay, so again, just like what we did here, we need to transpose that, right? Just like this. Okay, so it's transposed. So we need to copy this. I'll just copy list transpose, Control C, Control V, and disconnect that. And then let's go here. Okay, so I'm gonna put that there. I want to transpose that. So again, if I run that and then see how it goes, there you go. So it's now transposed. Let me just hide this. Oop. All right. Okay. So successful. We have transposed this rest of items. So I'm now gonna hide this. Okay. So what else? So we need to use the node here to create the floor plan. So let's search for floor plan view by level. This one. So we need this one, floor plan view by level. Okay, so here we need this input. So we need an input which is level. Okay, now in order for us to put our level here, so we need another nodes here. So here's the transpose. So I need this index here. So I want that. So copy, Control V, and then don't forget to disconnect that. Let's put it here. Okay. So we needed the level. So level, this is the level, which is index 1. So that's why we need to use here a code block. So let me just close that. So code block, just double click, and then we need index 1. So let's connect that. And then let's connect the list here. And then as you can see, we need here a level input, right? But right now we have here item, which is we cannot connect that here because we need a level input. But as you can see here above, the level by elevation and name, we have an input here of a level. So that's why we can use this. Okay, so we can use this one. So we can connect that here. Now, in order for us to connect these nodes that we have here, so we need to use another index here, list index. So list dot index of. So it returns the index of the element in the given list. So I need this one. Okay, and then as you can see here, for this one, we have used index 0. Okay, right. So what is that index 0 that we got from the levels? So if I'm going to expand this transpose here, the index 0 here is the levels actually, right? Okay, so that's why that is the list that I am going to connect to this list index of. So I want to use this item to connect here. So that is the list that I would like using the index 0, which is the level 01. And then after that, so what are the items? So these are the items that I would like to be inserted. The item number, the index number 1, which is this one, the level as well. See this one? Right? Okay. So I'm going to connect that there. Okay, so now the next thing that we will be doing, I will be needing another index here. This one, list get item at index. So I'm going to copy that. And then let me just disconnect this first. Okay, and then let's connect here. So here we need an integer, index of the item in the list. Okay, so what are these integers? So I'm just gonna connect that here on the index. And then what is this list that I would like? So I want that level here. And then finally, you connect that there. Okay? Because we needed that details from the level dot by elevation and name. So we needed that here. Okay, so we need to get the index number 1 here. Connect to that index. Okay, let me just hide this. So that's the one. So connect there, and there you go. So these are the nodes that we need to create our level. So don't worry if you think this is very long. You only need to set up your Dynamo script once so that the next time you're going to create your project, so all you have to do is to open the project and then run this Dynamo script, and you will be able to create now all of these things. Okay? Right. Okay, so the next thing that we are going to do is we are now going to run this. By the way, I'm going to group this. So let's group that. Right click, create group. So these are the nodes that we use to create Revit or just floor plans. Okay, and then right click. Let's change the color. All right. So let's run this one. Okay, so let's try running this. So let's see what happens. Okay, so let's run this. So I'm going to run now. And there you go. So it's now created. So the floor plan here is now created. Now, the next thing that we're going to do is we want to rename this. Remember when we created our sheets here for the floor plan, we already have this name here. Right? So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to extract this to rename our level. Okay? So we are going to rename our view. So to rename our view, so let's go check it out here. Normally, when we rename our view is we just need to click the floor plan and then go to the properties, and then you can rename it here using this parameter view name. Remember this, view name. Capital V, small I, E, W, capital N, small A, M, E. So view name. So this is the parameter that we will be using. Okay, so we are going to use that. So going back here on our Dynamo, so I'm going to expand again this one. So we are going to rename the floor plan. So to rename the floor plan, so we need to use this node, which is called element that set parameter by name. Okay, so this is the node that we will be using. So as you can see, we have 3 inputs here. So we need to give these 3 inputs. So we have the elements. So what are the elements that you would like to rename? So I want to rename the floor plan that I created, which is this one, right? So I'm going to connect that here. So if I'm going to see that, so these are the views that I would like to rename. So these elements, so these are the floor plans. So what is the parameter name? Okay, so what is the parameter name? So the parameter name is the one that we have here in Revit. So what is that? So the view name, right? This one, view name. So that's the parameter that we needed. So I'm gonna use that. So I'm gonna create a code block. Just double click on the blank space. Now if you're gonna type text, just put a quotation and then you put the parameter name, view name. Oops. There you go. So that's the parameter name. That's the one that you connect. And now what is the value? What is the value that we're going to put there? So we want this, okay? But we already extracted this earlier, right? The details here. We already extracted that. So going back to our Dynamo, it's actually already here. This one, right? We already extracted it here. So it's actually here on our transpose. So if I'm going to expand that, this is the one that we needed, right? Here, the index 0. So these are the names that we would like to be used to rename our floor plan. So we will be using this index 0 from our list.transpose that we got when we create our floor plan. So we need this index 0. So that's why we are going to use here what? This one, list get item index. So we're going to copy that, Control V, and then just disconnect, just click outside. And then we need a code block, right? Because you have two inputs here. You have the list, which is this one. That's the one. You connect that there. And then what index? So we need index 0. So we need to put a code block number 0. So just double click on the blank space, just put 0 and then click outside, and you're now good to go. Okay? So what happens is we use here the index 0 to rename our view. So index 0, and then let's now connect that to the value. All right, and there you have it. So let us now run it. So I'm gonna move it here, and then I'm going to run it. So let's see what happens. So let's run the program. Look here in our Revit. So run. There you go. So it's now renamed. Now I don't need this level 0 and then the level 1, which is the default view that I have created. So I'm just gonna delete that. Also here, I don't need the 0, 1 and the level 1 default. So let's just delete that level 0. All right. Okay, so we just created our levels and our floor plan, and then we are able to rename it. Okay. Now, the next thing that we will be doing now here is we are going to create the reflected ceiling plan, the RCP, because we don't have RCP here. Okay, but again, let's group this to be clear. So we use this to rename our RCP, to rename our floor plan. So right click, create a group, rename floor plan. Okay, and then what's now the color? Is it this one? Okay. Right, and then let me just hide this. Okay. Right, so that's how you read the data from the Excel, create levels, create floor plan, and then rename it. Okay, now let's create our reflected ceiling plan. Again, same manner, how to read the data Excel. So let's copy this, Control V, just this one. Let's rename for clarity. So this is how to read your reflected ceiling plan from Excel. Let me change the color. So right click, how about this one? There you go. Okay, so we just need to change this one. So let's go here. So make sure you type reflected ceiling plan. So right click that, rename, copy, click outside, and then go back to your Dynamo, and then you paste it here. And you're ready to go. So if we are going to run that, so you just extracted again your reflected ceiling plan data. Now, how to create your reflected ceiling plan? It's basically also the same as your views there. Let me just show you. Okay. So the node that we need here is ceiling. plan view. Okay, this one by level, because we already have levels in our project, so we will be using that details again. Okay, again, so we need to extract this. So again, same procedure. So I need here a transposed. I also need here a list get item index. So let me just copy the transpose first. Control V, make sure you disconnect that, click outside. Okay, so I need this one here. So I'm going to transpose that, run. Let's see this. Okay, so it's now transposed. And then I will be using again list get item at index. Again, don't forget to disconnect. So for this one, I needed index 1. So that's why I'm going to create a code block. 1, click outside. So I need that index 1 here. And then I need that list to connect here. Okay, and then just like what we did on our floor plan, I also need this one, list index up. So I'm going to copy that, Control V, again, disconnect. Let's move it here. So what are the items that I like? I like this one. I like to extract this index 1, these levels. So I'm going to connect this item here to the element. So this list here, element, and then we need to get this item here from index 0, which is the level 1 to level to roof from the index 0. So I want to get that also here, just like what we did on our floor plan, right? So we needed, so we needed this levels, which is index 1, and then we need these levels, which is index 0. So that's why we use this node here coming from that one with the index 0. So this one is index 1 because that is where our levels are. Okay, so same with our ceiling here. So we need to get this one, so that's why we extracted index 1 and then connect that to the element. And then another list of the floor plans or the levels is this one, which is this one, index 0, connect it here as well. Okay, and then we need another get item at index. So let me just copy this, Control V, disconnect. Then we need to connect this element, that's the index, and then for the levels, this one here, you need a level input to there. Okay, so this, the input of this one is level, so we needed that. Okay, and then finally here, there you go. So these are the nodes that we needed for us to be able to create our ceiling. And then we're going to rename that as well using the same node that we have here. Okay, but let's run it first so that we can see if it is working or not. All right, so let's see, run. We are creating our ceiling plan. So run. There you go. So we just created our ceiling plan. Again, we need to rename that. So that's why we will be using this group here. So let me just group this one first to tidy up our nodes. So this is used to create RCP. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. So that's for RCP, and then for the rename, so we just need to copy, Control V, and then make sure you disconnect. So I need to disconnect this list here. Let me just disconnect all so that it's not confused. Oh, this one, it's the same. All right, okay. So this one is rename RCP. Color. All right. So what is the list? So we need the list that we got here from the Transposed. So we need these names here. This one, right? So that is index 0. So which is already index 0 here. So index 0, so the list is our missing. So we need to connect the list there. So we already have the parameter. So that's that one. And then finally our ceiling plan, which is here. There you go. Okay, and then let's see again. Oops. Where's my Dynamo here? So that when I run, I'm expecting this ceiling plan will change. So let's select run. There you go. Very fast. Okay, so you just need to set up this one so that the next project that you will be doing, it's very, when you set it up, it will gonna be quick. Right, so the last one is we need to create our sheets, right? So just, let's create the sheets. So again, we know this. Let's copy this. We are going to get the data from our Excel. So let me change this color. This one, read sheets, data from Excel. And then again, make sure you type there sheets. Okay, so sheets for this one. Okay, so, oops. So sheets. Okay, and then let's run this one. So let's see how it looks like. Run. Oh, okay, there you go. All right. And then the node that we need to create our sheets here is sheet by name, number, title block. That's the one. Okay, again, but for us to be able to do that, we need to transpose it again. So let's use the transposed, and then I also need the list get item at index. All right, so let's transpose this list here, the rest, and then run it. There you go. So it's now transposed. Okay, and then what else? So we need also the get item at index. Control V. Disconnect. So we need that list. So we actually need index 0 here and then index 1, right? for our sheet number and then the sheet name. So we both need that. So that's why I'm gonna create two list get item at index, and then we need to create a code block for index 0 and then index 1. Okay, so let's double click, blank space, so that's for index 0, and then this is for index 1. Okay, so for the sheet name, this is the sheet name, index 1, right? So I'm gonna move that there. So that's the index 1. So I'm gonna take this list, but I'm gonna use the index 1 here, which is the sheet name for the sheet name here. So let's connect that. And then finally, we need the index 0 for the sheet number. Connect there. And then we need to specify the title block family. Okay, so in order for us to do that, let's look for the title block node. So title block types. Okay, so this is the node. And there you go. So the title block types node, it will read what is the title block that is loaded in our project. So if you click the drop down arrow, you can see here that there's a one type of title block that is loaded to your project. So just click that one and then just connect it there. There you go. And that's it. Let's close that. And then let's make a beautiful node here. Let's tidy up. Okay, so let's select this one, right click, and then create the group. So this is for creating or create sheets. Okay, and there you go. So let's run this one. So let's move it here. And then we are going to automate our sheets. So let's run this. There you go. Sweet. So let's delete this one. And there you have it. So you just created a Dynamo script when you setting up your architectural project. Now, if you are using here imperial units or feet, inches, okay? So you need to convert your levels here, because for my level here, this one is in millimeters. So you need to use here a conversion. So fortunately, there's a conversion here, which is use convert. Just look for convert, and then you just select between units. That's the node that you needed if you are using here. If you're going to use this node that we have created or script that we have created, so that it's you can use that to imperial or metric unit, so you can use this node here. So let's say my current unit is imperial, but I want that to convert to feet, so I use this one. So I use millimeters to feet, something like that, right? So millimeters to feet. Okay, and then after that, you connect that list here and then the output here. Okay, something like that. So this list that we have, the index one, this one, the 2000 millimeters, it will be converted to feet going to your elevation here. Okay, so you can use this one. So maybe what you can do is, I'm just gonna undo it. Okay, you just put it here standby, or just don't forget this one. Okay, so just don't forget this node, which is convert between units. Okay, anyway, I'm just gonna save this script here. So I'm gonna save that. So let's say, for example, this is now your company project setup Dynamo script. So I'm gonna close this. So let's say you are going to create a new project. So new project using any template, or let's say architectural template. So now that you have already set up your Dynamo script, so you don't need to redo again it. So just go to the Dynamo, and then after that, open up the Dynamo script for your company to set up the project, which is this one, project setup. And then just run it. You don't need to start from scratch. So just imagine renaming, creating. It will really take a lot of time when you are going to create your project. So just need to run this script. Just select run and wait for the magic. Okay. It's not 1 minute. And there you go. So you just created your views here. Okay. All right. So let us just go to the elevation because you have a default levels there. Just delete that. Okay. Delete that. Okay. And there you go. So you just set up your project. Right? Okay. So you just need to reuse this project setup script. But then again, you can always modify this one to suit your company needs. Okay. So hopefully you learned something from this video, guys. It's a really long video, but hopefully it helps. So thank you for watching. Have a nice day.